All right, what's up, fellas? Time for a Wake Up Mintzy, presented by the fine folks of Dude Wipes the Stella Blue. Beautiful day. Great day to be alive. We're in the heart of it's April Fool's Day, but I'm not fooling around today. I'm in a good mood. And we're joined right off the top by star Ole Miss point guard Sean Padulla, joining us fresh off the Ole Miss Sweet 16 run in the NCAA tourney. And he developed quite a cult following this season for sure with the chef out. What's up, Sean? How are you this morning?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Great to have you on. Lot to get into. I'm really excited to meet you. I really appreciate you giving us your time this morning. I can't even imagine how crazy this last couple weeks has been for you. Ole Miss, man, made it to Sweet 16 for the second time in school history, first time since 2001. You were, a star of the whole season, but, man, you played incredible in March. You had a freaking game-winning shot against Oklahoma. You hit the game-winning three in the SEC tourney with 1 second left against Arkansas. And then you hit the dagger three against North Carolina with 50 seconds left in the first round. Seemed like a pretty damn good few weeks for you.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I just keep telling people it's like I felt like the last couple of weeks, month was like exactly the childhood dream you dream of living as a basketball player, and just playing in March. So it was definitely crazy and an awesome experience. So I loved it.
Well, I want to start. So you were from. I did some research on you, trying to prove I did some prep. You're from Edmond, Oklahoma. So you just grew up? You always played basketball?
Yeah, I come from a big family. I got 8 siblings, so like we played everything. I didn't even know I was going to play basketball. I didn't even think I was going to be good enough to play in college till like junior year of high school when I really started thinking about like all right, I could do this. But I played all the sports. All the young kids played basketball, baseball, football, and I just became better at basketball compared to the others. But yeah, I did a couple different things.
Well, so your junior year, you kind of felt like you had a chance at college because, like, man, the deck. I don't want to say the deck stacked against you, but you're not the tallest guy in the world. Did you start getting college interest your junior year?
Yeah, that's why I started thinking about playing, just because, like you said, I look like a regular dude, so I didn't really nothing really jumped off the page to college scouts, I guess. But my junior year, yeah, I started getting a couple looks, and I was like, man, if I could still play basketball and also get free college, that'd be pretty sick.
So how did you end up at Virginia Tech?
They were my last year of AAU was like the whole COVID thing.
Okay.
And it kind of just messed everything up. Like I couldn't go on visits or anything. And even my AAU games were like streamed on like an online service. So if coaches wanted to like watch me, they had to watch through like a Zoom setup type thing. And it was just all messed up. So Virginia Tech was really like one of the few schools that like recruited me and kind of gave me like that opportunity. And the coaching staff there had recruited a lot of guys like me, Storm Murphy, like Fletcher McGee, guys that have kind of like gone off in the tournament and just had a lot of success with them. So I just felt like it was a good fit, and it was for 3 years. So
yeah, you had a really good career up there, and I had Coach Beard on a couple weeks ago, and he shared the story about when he was coaching Texas in 2023, played Virginia Tech first round of the tourney. And he talked about playing you. And do you remember any memories from that?
Yeah, he brings that up like all the time now. And it was funny because our first tournament round was in Milwaukee, so it was like the exact same setup. And it was funny after we won against Iowa State and North Carolina. He was like, "You can finally leave Milwaukee with a winning record." So I know it hurt.
Oh man, well, looking back. Good.
And he used it against me in the whole recruiting thing too. He was like, I beat your ass the first time we played. So if you want to be on the other side of that."
That's funny. Well, so that's probably, that may be a way. I'm sure you were on his radar regardless, but I bet he watched that, coached against you and was like, hey, I'd like to coach that guy one day.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. So you did 3 years Virginia Tech, and then you went in the portal last year. What made you decide you wanted to come play for Ole Miss?
I think Coach Beard is obviously very well respected and renowned head coach. So he obviously off the bat, I was like, I got to take this seriously. and take Ole Miss seriously in the whole recruitment process. But I think he laid out the vision for me that I wanted, and maybe I didn't even know I wanted just yet. But he kind of laid it all out right in front of me and said, like, this is the plan we can have for you. This is like where you can be a year from now, and this is like how we can get you to be the ultimate player you want to be. And I just trusted him at the end of the day. Like, that's all it comes down to in the whole recruitment deal is, like, you got to end up trusting somebody at the end of the day, because your career is on the line. So I feel like Coach Beard just did the best job as far as making me trust him in the whole process, and I feel like it worked out.
Yeah, I feel like it did too. Coach Beard, can't say it off. I mean, almost won a national championship in 2019 at Texas Tech, made another Elite Eight, now made a Sweet 16, has won games with 4 teams in the NCAA tourney now. I think the resume kind of speaks for itself. So he comes to you. You decide to transfer to Ole Miss. Had you ever been to Oxford before?
No, I'd never been to Mississippi at all. So whenever I first got here, it was kind of like a little bit of a culture shock, but it's at the same time it's kind of similar to where I grew up, so not crazy, but it was it's just another state to cross off the list, I guess.
Yeah, fair. Have you enjoyed, I mean, obviously you've been all basketball since you've been there, but have you enjoyed your time at Oxford?
Yeah, Oxford is such a cool like college town, and like the square is sweet. Going out in the square is like it's like as good as it gets as far as nightlife in a college town. So um, Oxford's electric. Like on football weekends, it's insane. Traffic gets insane, but I've loved every second of it.
Heck yeah. Well, so this team kind of came together, hit the portal hard. Man, really just great team. They brought Matt Morrell and Brakefield back and then paired you and brought in Malik Dia. And, I mean, I don't know. This team was really well put together. Y'all started the year really hot, ended up with wins over BYU and Colorado State. BYU made the Sweet 16. Colorado State almost did if they didn't have the buzzer beater against Maryland. Early on in the year, did y'all kind of feel like this was going to be a special team?
Yeah, I don't know what point exactly I knew we were going to be really good. I think it might have been the Alabama game away, but I think there were signs along the way where I was like, that was a big win, and like it was almost like we dominated certain situations. And I haven't been used to that in my last couple of years, so it was just crazy because we were so talented, like top to bottom, and every single night we could have a different guy like being a leading scorer or have the hot hand. So I think as the year went on and as we've kind of figured out who we were, we just kept getting better and better.
You mentioned that Alabama game. That was in mid-January. That was the first Ole Miss road win against a top 5 team in school history, and that was a dominating performance, especially on defense. And I believe y'all forced something like 21 turnovers that night. That had to just feel unbelievable in the locker room after.
Oh yeah, that might have been my favorite win of the season, just because I don't think anybody expected us to win that game. As far as like their fans, our fans, like I think the only people that really thought we could win that game was the people in the locker room, and that started with Coach Beard just kind of explaining that to us and giving us that trust and confidence, and then obviously it was like damn near sold out, and the fans quickly realized that it wasn't going to be like an easy game. So we just kind of felt the energy shift immediately, and then after the game, it was just electric in the locker room.
Yeah, so that was a huge win, catapulted Ole Miss in the top 15. I got to ask, what was it like playing? So this SEC this year, record 14 of the 16 teams in the league got to the NCAA tournament. Seemed like just a meat grinder, night in, night out, no easy games. What was it like getting through that league play this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was every single game was you're going to get somebody's best shot and you're going to play a tournament team, which is not the case in a normal conference. Like, I think people kind of got used to it as the season went on, but I'm used to like every couple of games you'll play a tournament team or tournament caliber team. And in between those games, you can kind of have like an 80% game and be fine, or a 70% game and be fine. That wasn't the case at all this past season. Even like the 2 teams that didn't make it, like South Carolina and LSU, like they were still good teams, and LSU gave us fits down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that
Same.
that comeback, y'all were down, Ole Miss was down 11 with 3 minutes left and came back
Yeah,
and won that game. That was incredible.
yeah. Like we probably should have lost that game. And it's like they were both good teams. So I think top to bottom, it was just an unbelievable conference. And we had to like. I think the biggest thing was we just had to play our best every single night.
Well,
And we, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say your final two home games in Oxford were both super special. First, the Oklahoma game where you hit that crazy shot to win the game right at the beginning of March, and then the senior night against Tennessee when Ole Miss won by 2. I mean I don't know, that just looked like such a special night. Tennessee ended up in the Elite Eight, SEC tournament finals. That looked like I remember watching after the game. Coach Beard was like taking the whole scene in. That looked like a really special night in Oxford.
Yeah, I think it was even cooler just because they were back to back games. Like they went back to back and they were both home games in front of our crowd, and it was kind of like a send off into March Madness. But yeah, it was crazy. Oklahoma game was special for me personally, just because I'm from Oklahoma and like I knew everybody on that team and had played against a lot of those players, so that was special. And then the Tennessee game to follow it up. And the court storm was just cool back to back. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to ever complain to SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey about fining Ole Miss $500,000 for that, but
For like the 12
I would never want to mention that, of course.
for like the 12 kids that ran on, yeah.
That was crazy. That was wild. But then y'all went into the SEC tourney with momentum off those 2 wins, and then that Arkansas game in the tourney, Ole Miss was up big at halftime. Arkansas fought back, and then I mean how did that shot feel? I mean that you ran down and hit that shot with 1.2 seconds left. I mean that was just stone cold.
Dude, I like that game was the weirdest game for me just because I was playing so bad. I feel like I was playing so bad, and like I think I was 0 for 6 from 3 up until that point. And then whenever I got the ball, I was like, I can't like think about the misses. Like whenever I have opportunity to end the game right here. So obviously it was crazy. It went in, but I told everyone, I was like, it felt good, but a lot of my shots that day felt good, and none of them went in. So I guess that one was different.
I'm just watching you play. I mean, you ooze like confidence on the court, like in all high pressure situations. Is that just from experience? Because it kind of just jumps off the TV that, like, as a fan, I felt really good about all situations just because we had you, literally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to watch like myself. Whenever I rewatch the games, it's hard to watch myself from like an unbiased perspective. But I feel like I've just always played with confidence. Even like back to my freshman year at Virginia Tech when I started out my college career, I feel like I still had moments where I was like that. And I feel like you have to play like that as like a guy in my situation, just because I don't know, you're already at a disadvantage in the size category, and if you don't play with a supreme confidence, then you're just going to be lacking in a lot of areas.
Well, I also want to mention, like, as casual fans, we see the threes, all that. But, dude, you're a hell of a defender, too, man. You had a ton of steals, and, like, so much of this Ole Miss identity this year was forcing turnovers and how tough this defense was. Did a lot of that come from Coach Beard? I know there was a lot of athleticism. It just seemed like the defensive culture was impressive.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw any film of me before, but that's what people said was that I was, like, a really bad defender. I'd like to think that I wasn't, but also I'm going to give myself credit. That was all Coach Beard and the coaching staff. Shout out Coach Adams. He was on my ass like every single day about defense. So yeah, that's something I worked on a lot this past year, and I feel like I did improve in that big time.
Well, so beat Arkansas in the SEC tourney. I thought the game where even though Ole Miss lost to Auburn, lost by like 3 or 4, really fought hard. Kind of seemed like, after a long season, y'all really caught momentum heading into the NCAA tournament after that performance in Nashville.
Yeah, Beard always says, like, after a game, or he doesn't always say this, but one thing he says is you either like lose or you run out of time. And he, like, after that game, he was like, we didn't get beat today, we just ran out of time. Because that was one of the few games this year where we did play well enough to win against Auburn, and I think they knew it too. Like, everyone who watched the game knew we a couple more shots. I think we only hit 4 threes that day. It was like we were like 4 for 23 or something, and we still almost won. So I think he told us after that game in the locker room, he's like, we hit a couple more shots and played that way, like that game's ours, and we're playing in the semifinal of the SEC tournament. So I think that was the case a couple of times this year where even the games where we lost, we felt like we were right there.
Yeah, well then you head into the NCAA tournament. You get a 6 seed. You go to Milwaukee, draw the winner of North Carolina, San Diego State. Carolina wins by like 30. I mean, obviously this probably wasn't the best North Carolina team of all time, but I mean, what a cool matchup getting to play North Carolina in the first round of the tournament. And you were obviously familiar with them from your time in the ACC.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I think we were the underdogs in that game. Like I think they were like 1.5.
Yeah, they were 1.5 point favorites, and I definitely was riding the Rebs real hard.
When we, when we saw that, we were kind of like, dude, there's no way. Like that was like a whole new level of disrespect. We feel like just because, and we were getting disrespected all year, like from the CBS guy to
Tim Doyle, yep.
Yeah, like all that stuff. Like that was happening all year. It just was magnified because we were playing in the tournament. But that was kind of crazy. Just saying we were going to lose that game, and like the fan base of UNC is pretty widespread. So we just went like I think in the first half we kind of wanted to show everybody that like they didn't deserve to be on the same court, and they did. I mean, they're a good team, and they got to the tournament, but I think we just kind of took that matchup personally, and they made it a game in the second half and almost got us. But
that first half, Ole Miss came out and dominated. In the second half, I think we had Ole Miss had a 5.5 minute scoring drought. But man, that shot you hit with, I think it was like 53 seconds left. Like that game was a little in jeopardy, and you just that three you hit was literally a knife to their heart.
The game was more than a little in jeopardy. We were all kind of feeling it. Even like I think that's funny because all the fans I see after the game, they're like oh, like heart attack, blah blah blah. Like we feel that too. Like we were stressing a little bit too. But that shot, definitely kind of was the dagger. And you kind of hear it in the crowd. Did you make it to any games in the tournament or no?
No, we have like streams up here. We do a thing where we all watch the games and do content. So I was unfortunate because Milwaukee was pretty close to here, but obviously I watched all of them all year. But dude, that shot was just, for you to hit three of those, the Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Carolina, kind of a March legend.
Yeah, I was just asking just because if like the crowd after I hit that shot was just kind of like, oh, like you could tell that was it. So that was cool. And I had all my family there, or most of my family there. So that was one game I'll remember.
Well, one thing Coach Beard said after the postgame, so y'all move on to play Iowa State in the second round. And Coach Beard said, I believe he told y'all, if y'all just get to Iowa State, I got this. It was a quote he said. And he kind of had a ton of success against them when he was at Texas Tech. But that performance against Iowa State, that's the best I've seen Ole Miss basketball. I guess the Bama win on the road, similar. But, man, that performance at Iowa State, Iowa State was up 15-8 with like 14 minutes left in the first half. And then from then all the way to 6 minutes left in the second half, Ole Miss outscored them by 34. Ole Miss hit 6 of their first 7 threes in the second half. Y'all were just out of your minds in that game.
Yeah, that game was probably one of the more fun games we played all year, just because like we were getting after it defensively and causing a lot of disruption, obviously. But I think everyone was just like playing free, like we were just hooping really, and playing hard as hell. And yeah, I remember Beard said that he was like, just win the first game and the coaching staff will take care of the second game. And we all kind of like looked around like, what does he mean by that? But he obviously knew something we didn't. And definitely gave us a good plan going into that game.
So what was it like in the locker room after, you make the Sweet 16? I know it's like ultimately you got to focus on the next game, but I hope y'all got to step back and like enjoy the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you're like conflicted with trying to celebrate because you did achieve like a massive accomplishment, and then also like not try to celebrate too much because you're not done yet. So it was cool in the locker room. We definitely enjoyed the moment. Beard has this thing where we enjoy games for like 24 hours and then it's back to work. So we definitely enjoyed it, had some fun in the locker room, and kind of took the whole moment in, smell the roses, as Coach Beard always says. But we definitely didn't think it was like job finished or anything or had any let up.
No.
And I think like going into that last game we played, like there wasn't any like we're just happy to be there, you know.
Hell no, no. That game was so getting into the Michigan State game, which ultimately Ole Miss lost 73-70. That game was a freaking war. I mean, Tom Izzo said after
Yeah.
it that was the most physical team he's seen in years. And I mean, that was a game that, like, I can't imagine what it's like as a player for y'all because you got 40 minutes in these NCAA tournament games where every possession's magnified and everything's all on the line. But like, I mean, Ole Miss played awesome in that game. Very easily could have won it. We're up 29-19 first half. They had that little. I feel like those threes they hit before the half that Jace Richardson hit. It felt like when Ole Miss was up 2 at half, Ole Miss should have been up 5 or 7, like how Ole Miss dominated the first half. But I mean, really could have gone either way. They hit some threes, and I felt like the foul thing. Ole Miss they got a lot more free throws. I thought that was a little bit of the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of those points. I feel like the end of the first half, it was just kind of like it was a little bit dejecting just because we had played so well the whole first half, and then they kind of got the momentum back going into the half of the couple threes, and they were struggling to score. Like I think 12 minutes into the first half, at like the 8-minute mark, they had only scored like 15 or 16 points, and we were just playing really well. But then again, yeah, in the second half they just got to the foul line a lot more than we did, and in close games that's a big advantage. But yeah, it was a battle. It was a battle for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I want to ask about this. Just like the thing about the NCAA tournament, it's so special. But I mentioned a second ago. I mean, it's like 40 minutes for the rest of your lives. Like you're always going to be remembered for everything that just happened in the last month or two. But then you lose a heartbreaking close game, and now, I mean, I hate to say it, but like you look up and like now life's going to just be a lot different, and it's over. Like, how do you deal with that mentally?
It took a second for it to all like hit me. I remember going through the handshake line and then like looking over at my family and then looking up at like the stadium, and I was like, damn, like this is it for my college career. And it just kind of all hits you slowly. And then walking back to the locker room, like you hear just people like starting to get upset and kind of choke up a little bit. And then it's just like, damn, you just get emotional about it. And that whole locker room scene was just obviously very emotional just because we had such an older team. I think we had 10 seniors. So it was just, I don't know. You take it all in and you appreciate it and you understand how good of a journey it was, but it is bittersweet just because, you spend every single day with these guys and like you become so close, and then in a split second it's just over. So I always say, like, as great as it would be if we won, that's how bad it hurts if you lose.
Yeah, it's one of those tough things though, because ultimately only one team gets to be happy at the end. I mean, I guess the teams that make the Final Four still feel the same way, but it's a tough numbers game because it's like everybody's got to deal with it.
Yeah, everybody's got to deal with it, and that's the beauty of sports, I think, is because you're fighting to be that number one team at the end of the year where you don't have to have that feeling ever, and you can kind of go out on a bang, but that's competition, and you just got to live with it.
Well, so now, I mean, I guess it's probably been a lot to process since, but you starting to look at what's ahead for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through that whole NBA process and give that my best shot, and hopefully get an opportunity. And that, yeah, I don't really know what's next as far as like my schedule and all that for the next 2 months, just because that whole process is kind of complicated. So, I mean, I'll figure that all out. But yeah, play basketball as long as I can is my goal. I feel like it's gotten me to this point. So.
Oh, I believe it. Well, I've got a couple of questions. We got some fan questions from you. First of all, do you have a favorite Coach Beard memory?
A favorite Coach Beard memory?
I guess you already shared one where he said talking smack about beating you in the tourney.
I remember one time we had like we had like a little team retreat before the season started in South Haven. And he's just a funny guy because he outside of basketball he's very just like joyful and like playful, and he would make the GAs do like the craziest things when we were on the road trip, like jump into the lake or play one-on-one like in front of everybody. And one time we were at a hotel, and he made these two managers just play like a full on one-on-one game on this little mini hoop, and we were all just going crazy and cheering it on, and he was loving it. Like I remember looking over and he was just like cheesing ear to ears because like he was making these two grown men play one-on-one in front of everybody. So that was funny.
That is funny. You mentioned your over time. I mean, yeah, I know this is a hard one, but like 3 years Virginia Tech, you're at Ole Miss. Do you have any particular favorite teammates you want to shout out that you love playing with?
Yeah, this is actually a perfect question because I told my boy Connor Venable I'd shout him out. He was like, "You got to shout me out tomorrow." So that's I played with him for 2 years at Virginia Tech. One of my closest friends, John Camden, who's actually in the transfer portal right now. One of my good friends, and Brandon Rexsteiner. So, and then obviously this whole team this year, we were all super close. But I've got a lot. I could shout out a ton of people that I've been close with over the years.
Yeah, the Malik Diaz showing the emotion in the press conference about how sad he was he didn't get to play with you anymore was a very, very touching moment after the Ole Miss.
I know, and if you know Malik, like he cares so much about the game, and that's why he's going to be so good because like he loves it so much, and that was upsetting to see just because you could just see that was real emotion, and yeah, I mean I love that guy. He's going to do big things.
All right, I got two random ones. First of all, you always rock the white headband. Does that go back to high school? Like, how did that start?
No, this is my first year I ever wore a headband, and I kind of just did it because, like last year and going into like the off season, I would wear it in practice and stuff, and then I would just like stop wearing it before the season. I was like, I'm not going to wear a headband. And then going into this year, I think my buddy John actually said he was like, you should rock it all year. Like that should be your new look. So I went with the buzz cut. I'm growing it out a little bit now, but I went with the buzz cut, threw a headband on there. I was like, this is going to be my look for a 25 season. So I feel like it was cool. It was just like a different thing for me.
I saw a lot of fans were rocking them all year, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely turned into a thing. And that's kind of what the intention was. Like I wanted it to kind of be like a meme and like a funny thing. And I guess towards the end of the year in March, it did become that.
Also, your Instagram, your Chef Sean on there, and then you got the chef hat. That also was a big thing all year. Like the Barstool Ole Miss account after every win would post like a pic of you with the chef hat that people loved. How did that come about?
So my 8th grade trainer, before I even had an Instagram, he was like, if you ever have an Instagram, you need to have like your handle needs to be Chef Sean. And I guess because he was like, you cook it up on the basketball court. Like that was the reasoning. And I was like, all right, I'll remember that. So I think like freshman year of high school, I got an Instagram and I put that as it, and it kind of just took off from there, and I've never changed it since.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. All right, well, looking ahead to Final Four now, all 4 1 seeds. You obviously played against Auburn and Florida. Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston. This is only the second time all 4 1 seeds have made it. First time since 2008. Any idea what you think is going to happen here in these matchups?
Florida, Auburn. I think Florida's going to win. I know they played earlier on the year at Auburn, and Florida kind of gave them the work. So I feel like it'll be a similar type game. And then Duke, Houston. I got Duke just because they look really good. Even though I think Houston will give them problems. Like I think Houston's really good, and they kind of went. They put the belt on Tennessee, so I think it'll be a Duke Florida matchup in the championship, and I'll go with the SEC. I'll go Florida.
All right. You played against so many great players this year. Was Walter Clayton the best guard you played against?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I feel like he just played with the most confidence out of everybody. Like some of the shots he takes, almost like. I mean, you saw the one, the last game they played against Texas Tech. With
we ran out to the 3-point line.
Yeah, I was like, nobody takes that shot, like unless your name is like Steph Curry, you don't. And he took it and made it, and I was like, wow. So he just plays with a supreme confidence, and I think that's why he's so good.
Yeah, I agree. I've never. I mean, he's the guard play in the tourney always plays, and man, he's something. And then that Duke Houston matchup. Obviously, you're familiar with Duke. This Duke team this year is one of the most complete college basketball teams I've ever seen. They got everything. They got a top 3 defense, length, rim protection. Proctor never misses threes, and Knipple, and obviously Cooper Flagg. And they look kind of unbeatable, But the style matchup against Houston's fascinating because they haven't seen a physical team like that. I don't know. That one's interesting.
I agree. That's what I've been telling people. Like, it'll be interesting because they are a super young team, and Houston's an old physical team. So it's definitely they're definitely gonna be tested. It's just gonna be about like how well they handle that. So that'll be a game I'm tuned in for sure.
Yeah, it should be awesome Final Four. So next couple months, you said you're just kind of doing the process, and I guess you got school through May in Oxford.
No, I'm done.
You're done?
I graduated with my certificate, so I'm just here in Oxford, just gonna be working out and hanging out, enjoying life before it gets crazy.
Well, heck yeah, man. Well, hope you can make it. I know you're gonna be busy getting ready for the draft, but hopefully, have you ever made it out to an Ole Miss baseball game before?
Yeah, what's one last week? They're fun. I sit out in the yard and just enjoy a few drinks. So it's a cool experience.
Yeah, man. They're number 9 right now. This is the best year. I mean, obviously, you've only been around Oxford for a year, but, man, I don't know if you know Keith Carter well, but, like, Ole Miss top 15 in football, Sweet 16, both men's and women's, and baseball's top 10. I mean, this is crazy to see what Ole Miss sports has become.
Yeah, I've never kept up with Ole Miss sports as much as I did this year, obviously, but I mean, I think every sport is doing well, so it's good to see. Keith Carter is a great guy, and he's obviously doing an even better job. So it's been electric here to be in Oxford.
All right, I'm about to let you go. I got 2 last ones. What did you think of the home atmospheres in the pavilion this year? Because it seemed like, I mean, the people were camping out for games and selling out. It seemed like Ole Miss had it rocking.
Yeah, it definitely was rocking. People said that it hadn't been like that in the past, and it was kind of hard to understand just because they did show out every game like hours before. I don't know what game. I think it was Auburn when we played at home. They were like camping out the night before, which was crazy. But they did an unbelievable job. The Club Red or whatever their name is, they did an awesome job all year. So their support was definitely appreciated.
And what was like the hardest or your favorite road venue in SEC or ACC that you played in? Because it seemed like you played everywhere.
Probably Auburn. Auburn this year, just because their fans are right on top. Like their student section's right on top of you, and it wraps around the court. And they obviously have an unbelievable team. So that was probably the hardest road game this year.
Awesome. Well, Sean, I just want to say thanks for giving us some time this morning, man. I can't I know I speak for all the Ole Miss fans. I mean, just what a fun, such a special season, run, team, everything about it. You and your teammates and coaches brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. So, I hope y'all feel loved because you certainly deserve it.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. It was, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And this year was definitely a blessing. And this team will never be forgotten as far as the relationships we had and the time we spent in Oxford together. So it was a blessing.
Yeah, you get to enjoy. Hey, you're an Ole Miss legend forever too. You get to be Oxford royalty. So, that can't be the worst thing.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing Oxford for years to come.
Hell yeah. Well, Sean Padulla, Ole Miss star point guard, off the Sweet 16 run. Thanks for joining us on Wake Up Mintzy this morning. Really appreciate your time. A lot of other fun stuff, as always, going on at Barstool. Last night, happy birthday stream to Hannah Montoya with Moot Can't Sleep. I busted out the disco shirt and shades. That was a lot of fun. I couldn't make balloon animals. Big-time Barstool After Dark tonight that they're trying to break Big Cat's 16-game winning streak record, and it's 16 things in a row that are all 50-50. So, it's like 1 in 131,000 odds. We might be there literally all night. We're going to get Tyler Moody to pop on here for a second if he gets a chance to. But getting ready, Final Four, Dave and Big Cat and Titus and Rico Bosco having to take the bus 47 hours from New York all the way to San Antonio because Alabama not making the Final Four. I got to give Rico credit. That's a hell of a long bus ride. He's got to change in like D.C., Nashville, and Atlanta. I wonder if he's going to get riders to help him make the trip. It's tough. That's a tough one for him. But Dave and Big Cat and Titus and Rico will be doing a show in San Antonio this week, and then we're going to be streaming the Final Four Saturday and Monday. And then also got to give a shout-out to my boy Moody. Had a huge day firing the baseball. He's given out the home run parlays and all these picks. So you can fire on DraftKings with our partner as always. But check out Moody Mac TV on Twitter for good baseball picks. Going to be cranking up the college baseball real hard all after the Final Four week, but SEC baseball kind of in full swing. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle of March Madness because literally everything does, but a lot of stuff going on there. Tennessee still the best team in the country. LSU 7-2. Texas off to a great start. Ole Miss off to a great start. I don't know what the hell happened. Texas A&M was number one preseason. They've fallen off a cliff. Florida top 7. They're like 1-8. Mississippi State's like 1-8. I mean, it's been a wild year so far of SEC baseball, but kind of getting in the spirit of that with spring. And, feeling good. Life's good. I'm all pumped up. Jinx is on my ass still about the health stuff, but hit my goal and hit 235 by April 1. So far, so good. Moody, what's up, bud?
What's up, brother? I'll tell you what, I have to embark on this weight loss journey with you. I can't believe I'm saying it, but for the first time in my life, well, second time, I've got to go on a little weight loss journey. I'm getting fat, bro. It's happening to me. It's the late night munchies. They have absolutely killed me. They have torched me. They have beat me down, and it's time for me to rise back up and fight back against the late night munchies. So
the late night,
as of right, it's the late night munchies.
What are you eating late night that's getting you?
Anything, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's really, I love candy. I'll get a candy bar. Like last night I had Mexican food and I should have just saved the leftovers until today and had them for lunch. But instead I had them at like midnight. And I woke up this morning and I was like, all right, enough is enough. And so gonna have to lock it in here because I'm definitely a few pounds heavier than I've ever been. It's a fact.
Nothing but you've always been health conscious though.
I've always been able to eat whatever I want. That's been the thing. I could just eat. Candy didn't matter. I didn't gain weight, nothing. But it's catching up to me. So I'm gonna lock it in with you, Mintz.
There you go. Well, like I said, I'm super encouraged because my goal, I really was trying to get to 235 by the end of March, beginning of April, and I'd hit it like right on the nose yesterday. And I was 258 January 2nd, 249 February 1st, 242 March 1st, and 235 into March. So it's funny. I was texting with Jinx. I was like real happy about it, but he sent me the Kobe Bryant meme, job's not finished. He's right. I mean, I'm 40% of the way there. I'm trying to get under 200. It's going to take all year. But, I'm encouraged by the start, but also like, we're still just starting. And I'm about right now where I was in 2023 when I ran the St. Jude half. And so I've gotten to about this point a few times. It's getting to this next threshold. That's always been the problem. So it's about to be a war of attrition.
Time to put it into an extra gear. So I'm right there with you, bro. Let's lock it in for the next few months.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I've gotten it up to where I ran 25 miles each of the last 2 weeks. I mean, if I can rip off these 5-6 mile runs all the time, I can get that calorie deficit and, I'm eating healthy and don't drink. So I feel good about it, but, it's still a very long battle ahead, but I'm excited. I want to know what life's like for me under 200 pounds. I haven't been that since I was like 16 or 15. I'm 41. So I want to see. We're gonna make this shit happen. Baseball wise, Moody, nice bounce back yesterday. You're firing the home run parlays. I saw you hit an 18-1 yesterday.
Yeah, hit an 18-1 parlay yesterday, bounced back. I think I only lost like really one bet. I missed a couple home run props, but I missed like one bet yesterday. Hell of a bounce back after I started out just brutal. Really just a shitty 3-day stretch to open the season. But look, it happens to some of the best players in the game. You start out 0-13, 0-14. Luis Arraez, the guy that's hit over 320 the last couple of seasons, he's 0-14 or whatever to start the year. I think he got his first hit last night. So it happens to the best in the game. It happened to me the first 3 days, but we bounced back the last 2. And really, Mintz, the biggest storyline in the game right now is the damn torpedo bats that the Yankees are using the most, but the Yankees are not the only team. There's other guys out there that have been using them. But without question, Dees has mentioned it in here. He said, Moody, give us a torpedo home run hitter parlay. Ellie De La Cruz, Jazz Chisholm, Ryan Jeffers are 3 guys that are using the torpedo bat that could always hit a home run. So there's 3.
I'm curious. So what do you think about it?
I think it's within the rules. I think it is only going to help certain players. Players that tend to get jammed more often are going to have more success with this bat because they've moved the mass down towards the label. And a lot of these guys that get jammed and hit the ball off the label, they're going to hit it with what is now the sweet spot on the torpedo bat. And that's going to make a huge difference. And I saw it last night when Ellie De La Cruz's home run. He hit 2 of them, but in the first one, he got jammed a little bit, and he freaking crushed this baseball. And I think with guys like that have a good swing and they get jammed occasionally, man, that torpedo bat's going to make all the difference in the world. So for certain guys, yes, it's going to be a huge benefit. For other guys, it's actually could be a detriment if you're someone that normally hits it on where the sweet spot is on a normal barrel, or if you hit it towards the end of the bat more, those bats are going to be bad for you. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis here. But it looks like they're here, and they're here to stay as long as the MLB doesn't step in and intervene for some reason.
Well, it seems like I remember last year the balls weren't flying out at the beginning of the year. That does not seem to be a problem early. I mean, the Yankees have hit like 1 million home runs.
Yeah, Yankees had a huge weekend. They beat up on the Brewers. Great home showing for the Yankees. Obviously, Aaron Judge had a 3-run home run game. I mean, their entire lineup.
First 3 at bats, and then he hit a 4th one to the wall.
And they started that game off 3 pitches, 3 home runs. I mean, just what a showing for the Yankees. Beat up on the Brewers. Brewers lost again yesterday. They're 0 for 4. Over 5, I think, to start the season out. So it's been a tough stretch for them. Yankees look really good, but it's one series. We don't want to overhype things. That's what's happening with the torpedo bats. People are overhyping them just a little bit. They're making it sound like it's the biggest thing to ever happen to baseball. It's a big deal, but it's not the biggest.
Well, locally, it seems like the Cubs are scoring a lot of runs and going to be fun. I mean, they scored. They had a guy hit for the cycle last night. Kyle Tucker's already gone deep a couple of times. It seems like there's some enthusiasm here with them.
Yeah, they're beating up on the Athletics. Took care of business against the Diamondbacks a little bit. That was actually a really good series between those two teams. Cubs are going to be good. They need Shota Imanaga and
Justin Steele.
Yeah, Justin Steele. They've got to be good. They've got to be aces if the Cubs want to be that team. Fortunately for the Cubs, the Brewers got off to a bad start. The Cardinals went 3-1 so far, but they're not really going to be a threat this season, I don't think. The teams to pay attention to are going to be the Reds and the Cubbies there. The Reds look good. Matt McClain looks good. Ellie De La Cruz, my pick for MVP, looks great. I think that could end up being a 2-team race if the Brewers don't turn it around quickly.
Yeah, well, it's fun. Look, living up here in Chicago, I know it'll be a lot more fun this summer if the Cubs are good. So I'm hoping they can at least compete for that.
They're going to be good. They're going to be good. Whether or not they're good enough to win the division will be the question, but they're going to have a good season for sure. They'll be fun.
Yeah, well, excited about that. You loving having baseball back every day, huh?
So glad to have it back. It's just so much nicer when you wake up and you know you've got sports, you got something to bet on. Even if you're not gambling on a certain game, it's just nice to have baseball, and we've got it for the next 6+ months here. It's the best time of the year. My Rangers opened up the season pretty good, took 3 of 4 from the Red Sox.
Nice.
Got smashed yesterday. I mean, the Rangers got the shit kicked out of them by the Reds. Ellie De La Cruz and company beating up on my boys. So those are kind of my 2 teams for this year, by the way, the Reds and the Rangers. I'm just so heavily invested in Ellie De La Cruz and Matt McClain that my fantasy season and my money is tied to them. So that's going to be my National League team this year is the Cincinnati Reds, and then obviously I'm Rangers till I die. So
hell yeah, man. Well, excited to have baseball here, and springtime. Barstool still rolling. They're building the mini golf set outside in the gym. They got the big mini golf tournament next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be badass, huh?
Yeah, I didn't go. That'll be a lot of fun, for sure. So that'll be really fun. Yeah, but Barstool just always rolling. Like I said, they're heading to San Antonio for Final Four. I would have gone to Final Four if Ole Miss made it, but ultimately. Had a hell of a run, but came up a little short. Can't wait for this Final Four, though. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think Duke is one of the best basketball teams I've ever watched, man. I really, obviously, I didn't watch them this year very much, but once I've sat down and watched them in this tournament, they're incredible. They really are. Everything that they did against Bama, the way they defended against Alabama was impressive stuff. So I'll be shocked if Duke loses. You mentioned that you think Houston has a chance. They've got to get physical with them and really just get after Cooper Flagg. I think that's the one thing that we haven't seen is somebody getting physical with Cooper Flagg and taking the fight to him. Houston's the one team that's capable of doing that. If anyone is going to beat Duke, I think it's Houston, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too. Stylistically, I think Duke beats Auburn or Florida if it's either one of them in the title game. I think Houston's got to beat Duke if anybody's going to beat them. That's just matchup wise. I don't think Duke's seen a physical team like that. As great as Duke is, and I'm not hating on them. I mean, Arizona and Bama just aren't like Houston. They're just different basketball teams. Well, awesome. Well, as always, fire on DraftKings. Dude Wipes available. Target, Walmart, Amazon, all over the World Wide Web. Great product. I'm about to go drink some more Stella Blue. Let's check out the Barstool After Dark stream tonight. Could be a long one. That's an interesting stream concept. 16 50-50 things to try to break Big Cat's winning streak record, but it's like a 1 out of 131,000 odds. They could be there a long time.
So you're saying like they got to flip a coin and get heads?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Okay. Yeah, and they got to do 16 things in a row.
Like red, black on roulette one time or something. Yeah, damn, dude. 16 in a row is. I'd be willing to wager that they don't get it tonight.
Yeah, I think it could be.
That's
long.
Tough, man. Those are crazy odds. Crazy odds.
I know. That shows you how good Big Cat's winning streak was. Well, as always, like I said, fire on DraftKings. Follow Moody on Twitter at MoodyMacTV. He's dishing out the baseball knowledge. Let's check out that After Dark stream, and let's have a day, boys. Thank y'all. And thanks to Sean Padulla. Moody, that was a cool one. I really enjoyed getting to interview him.
Yeah, Sean Padulla, cold-ass white boy. One of the coolest dudes walking the planet right now. Great showing for Sean Padulla and for the Ole Miss Rebels. It was so easy to cheer for Ole Miss. Obviously, you being close to Chris Beard, having Chris Beard on the show, it was just really cool stuff. I found myself cheering for the Rebels as well, and what a fun run for Ole Miss, and what a great run for Ole Miss right now as a school, as a program across the board. I know you're just freaking thrilled, man.
Oh, it's been best ever. Like Brandon Walker was on the stream the other night, and he's like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how did this happen? And I was just like laughing at it.
It's got to be hilarious though, because Mississippi State's headed in the wrong direction, and then Ole Miss headed in the right direction. It's gotta feel pretty good.
Oh yeah, well it's funny. Football, obviously, they're in the abyss, but basketball, their big thing they're holding their hat on was they went 2-0 against Ole Miss this year. But like, who cares about that when you make the Sweet 16 and Mississippi State hadn't won a first-round tournament game since 2008? That kind of trumps that. And then Mississippi State baseball's 1-8 in SEC. So.
Which is crazy because whenever I was in high school, Mississippi State was the team. I mean, we would go to their camps every single season. Like, they were the program for the longest time. And it's just kind of weird to see the landscape of college sports changing a little bit these days.
Well, the thing about the SEC baseball is everybody's committed to it now. Like, back in the day, State was a big baseball school. LSU always was. South Carolina was. But, baseball wasn't like a priority for a lot of these programs. And now everybody's NIL and spending money and cares, and so it's made it a hell of a lot tougher. And then Texas, Coach Slosh, adding Texas to Oklahoma and SEC is making it even tougher. Both those teams are really good too.
A&M still doing shit,
dude. A&M's struggling, man. The A&M thing, I really wonder if Coach Early can do anything. Well, all right, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow on Wake Up Mintzy. Let's have a day.